Hello again, and welcome to another Tech Talk with Tony. Today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Inception designed Pico loader, which a lot of people have used out there, and a lot of people have been having trouble installing. We're going to go through the do's and don'ts. I want you guys to keep in mind that this is the first time that I have attempted to install these parts into this shell. So that's why the video is going to have some different stuff that we're doing in there to make installation a lot easier, to show you guys really what it takes when you're dealing with one of these loaders. We hope you enjoy. Let's jump in. Hello and welcome to another weekly Tech Talk. Today we're going to take a look at the Inception Designs Pico loader and how to go about assembling that, and just basic tips and tricks onto how to go about making this as easy as possible. Right away when we got this, we noticed that the two halves don't intersect like the old Halo shells did. And if you look here, there's quite a bit of discrepancy between the two shells. Now we've talked to Simon personally, and he assured us that this is to be expected, and that when we put it together, the screws will pull it together and ultimately make sure that it stays in that same mold when you take it apart and put it together. With that in mind, we're going to know right off the bat that we're going to have a little bit of fitment issues, and we're going to have to use the screws to kind of pull them together and make all that stuff work. You're going to notice that we have standard stock Halo, old school Halo internals here. We have tape all along the sides, just like it came out of the shell, and we're going to have to replace this guy too. We're going to go over all of that, and the board that we chose to use was a Halo V35 board. From everything that we've seen so far, these are kind of the ideal boards to put into these Pico loaders. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, we're going to take this tape off of here, as we're going to reroute the board to the bottom area, but we don't want to throw this away or crumple it up. I want to put that aside and save it for later. Okay guys, so if you notice here, we got our wires all loose. I did not remove the tape from the eye portion of this, as I really don't think I'm going to need to. If I do later, I can always do that. But as I may have mentioned earlier, this board actually sits in here quite different than what I expected. It sits down in the bottom right here like this. Alright, so that means we got to take our wires and we got to plug them in and figure out how they're going to fit in there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now let me remind you guys, this is the first time that I've attempted this myself. We want to keep these videos as real and as helpful as possible. Alright guys, we got it all figured out here. What you're going to want to do is take your eye wires, if you have them. If you do indeed have a Reloader B board, that's going to be a lot more advantageous. But you're going to want to scoop this around here, and then you're going to go over the top like this with your motor wires, and then this guy's going to end up coming back up through here where your battery goes, like that. But first we're going to take this guy off of here. Install the new one that comes with the shell. Alright guys, now the first step you're going to want to take here is just getting your eye wires looped back around here like this. See that? Making sure this guy's over here, and you can pull your battery end out of there all together. And all you're going to do is keep everything where you want it, get it lined up in your shell here, and you're going to feel it kind of snap in there. Alright? Make sure that your stuff all moves freely here, so because mine's already having an issue. You see that? Yeah, she's not sitting there the way she's supposed to. Now we're going to take your board. I'm going to start attaching here. Your power guy. If your board's pointed to the back like that with the button going that way, your power is going to be closer to you. Your eyes are going to be the ones that are a little bit further. And you're going to always want to make sure that the exposed metal connection points up there, those are going to be always facing up. If you put those in there wrong, you're going to have some issues with your board and battery and stuff like that heating up. You take your battery plug, slide it right down here. It's going to pull it back just like that. You're going to have quite a bit of wire to deal with here. This is probably going to be the more difficult part of what we're doing. But you want to get it all bunched up a little bit, start pushing it back into this little groove hole right there behind the board, or behind where the board will go. Hopefully you guys can see all this. I got mine started. One thing you're going to have to do, be very careful about, is bend this bunch of wires up like that, and then move your connection. Hopefully you guys can see that. Move your eye connection. Let's see if you guys can make sure. You have to bend that guy up a little bit, just a touch, and it's almost going to hold itself in there after you do that. So bend her up a little bit. Get her slide in there, hopefully. Make sure you guys take your time doing this because you don't want to ruin anything. Okay guys, at this point, what you're going to want to do is check and make sure that everything's working. So we can see that this guy is causing a binding issue. I'll show you guys that one more time. So we're binding up on our rip drive right here. I'm not quite sure why, or if that's a mold issue or something going on. I'm going to continue with the assembly here, and I have a hunch that after we get it all together here, hopefully that will pull itself into correction and it will sit like it should. Because as I showed you guys before, if you remember, these aren't totally perfectly mirrored. One thing that's important is to make sure that you guys have all of your wires out of the way of any area that's going to come in contact together. So you won't have any wires in this area because they're going to get pinched or smashed, and if you're not paying attention, you'll end up crushing them. You'll have to get your soldering gun out and fix it. Make sure all that stuff's in there and snug. Try to fit it together nice and see how it goes. So it appears that these stock halo screws are a little snug on in there. I don't have time to do all that. Alright guys, so after attempting to put it together the first time here, we found that the holes for the screws, or the stock halo screws, are too thin. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an 1/8 inch drill bit, if you guys can see right here on our drill. There you go. And we're going to drill out the holes. Alright? Alright guys, now that that's all taken care of, let's get back to putting this thing together here. I'm going to start with this middle hole, use it as our guide here. Got a little bit more flash from drilling. Started down in there. Alright. The hardest loader I've ever had to put together. I just broke the board. Make sure you guys take your time doing this because you don't want to ruin anything. Alright guys, so when you're trying to put it together there, we ended up breaking off one of these little transistors or capacitors or whatever those little drums are. So just be very careful. I have a backup Empire B board that's sound activated, so I'm going to go ahead and pull off the eye wires and stuff, and hopefully that'll make this much easier. But so far, it's been a pretty involved and rather difficult install here for just a simple shell here. So for this type of board, we don't need the eyes because it's sound activated. Peel off the tape. Now hopefully, this will be much, much easier to install. Alright, let's give it another try here. Alright, so far so good. It looks like it's going to go much easier. Try to match those up and get it to go together without breaking any more boards. Show you guys where we're at here. See, we got quite a bit of space yet. Let's kind of shimmy her together and see if you can't find the way that she wants to sit. Just remember, it's okay to go back and retry. Alright guys, you can see how she's kind of getting there, but how it's still misaligned, if you can see that on the video. But hopefully, when we throw our screws in, that's going to take care of it. The reason this is threading in is because we're pulling the two halves of the shell into alignment with that screw. Now you want to make sure that you got your screw all the way through to the other side where it's going to interact with the nut before you throw the nut in there, because you don't want to put it in there cockeyed. Drop our nut in there and hope she stays true. Alright, now we got her started right there. We don't go all the way tight because we want to leave our ourselves some room to fiddle with. Alright guys, so this last screw was really the stinker. As you can see, I used a longer screw through there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it off, and I'm actually going to cut that off so it's a custom made correct fitting screw here. We're going to go through and test it really quick. I'm going to install a speed feed on there. Definitely a lot more involved and a lot harder than I first anticipated. So. I mean, if you guys already see that, it's I got this thing almost all the way apart, and it's not quite going on there. All right, guys, welcome back. So we went to go install the batteries in here. We originally started with the 6-pack, which is what we thought would fit in there well. But what we found out is it really only wants to take a 4-pack. I'm sure we could get the 6-pack to fit in there, but it is quite snug. And we're lucky enough to be using a Empire B board in this, and that calls for a 4-pack of batteries. So that works out perfect. So what we're going to do quick is throw this guy on there, and I'll show you guys kind of how to get it in there. You'll notice, if you can see in there, there's a bunch of ribs that contour the inside of this. So when you install your battery pack here, you're going to want to use this smooth side, okay? So you're going to install it like this, right? You have to push this guy out of the way a little bit to get it to line up the way you want it to. And that guy gets started like that. You get her a little ways in there, and it kind of wants to stop. You're going to push it towards the front of the loader and then slide her on all the way in there. Now hold your battery over to one side, and you're going to take your remaining wires, just kind of stow them away right in this little notch right there. Now from this point you got an option. You can take bubble wrap or even cardboard sometimes. Foam is always preferable if you have it on hand, and you can pack this in there so you won't have any rattling issues or anything like that. Last part of it, I'm getting this battery door closed here. She's quite snug. Set your battery over here a little bit further to the middle. And now she goes in there just like she should. So there you have it, guys. All we have to do now is hit the on button. Show you that she works good. Hello and welcome back. As you guys can probably tell, that installation was a lot more technically difficult and time consuming than I originally anticipated. We hope that seeing that helps you guys make your decision on whether or not you want to buy one of those loaders. And my recommendation for that would be, if you're not technically savvy and you're not familiar with dealing with like the tools and stuff that I was using in the video, definitely go to your local tech shop, or you guys can even send it to us if you prefer, and have them install it for you. It's going to save you a ton of headache, and ultimately it's going to probably save you more money than anything, because like I said in the video, I did break one of those boards. You know, it happens to the best of us. It's one of those things, you know. I was putting it together, doesn't fit together perfect, so when I went to go you know, finalize and push it to snap it together, she broke off one of those metal things. And hopefully that's something that you guys will avoid after watching this. We really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe is the best way to tell us that you like what we're doing, and to keep doing it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.